Good morning, friends. Today we are going to start the chapter number 10, that is circles. So we'll do a little bit of revision which you have done in the previous standards, and then we'll go further with what is to be done in the 10th standard. So let us look at some of the definitions. What is a circle? So I hope you know the definition of a circle. A circle is a set of points equidistant from a given point. So this is the definition of a circle. A circle is a set of points equidistant from a given point. So here the given point is O. This is the given point. Okay, and this distance OQ or OP or 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 OM is the given distance. So what we have got? We have got a given point O and a given distance r, which is called the radius of the circle. So if you fix this point O and fix this distance, then when you trace this point, if you trace this point, what will you get? A circle. So if you look at the point Q, if you look at the point P, if you look at the point R, and you look at the point M, they are all at the same distance from this point O. So you can see there are infinite points on the circle. If you count, then there are infinite points on the circle. But what is the circle? The circle is a set of points at the same distance from a given point. So there are infinite points on the circle. Now point P, Q, R and M, all of these, even M, here we have mentioned PQR, okay, PQR is mentioned, but even M, all these points are on the circle. Now look at the point A and B. A and B lie on the interior of the circle, means they lie in the interior of the circle, inside the circle. And look at the point X and Y. X and Y lie outside the circle, so it is called the exterior. So we have got the points on the circle, we have the points inside the circle called the interior, we have got the points on the outside called the exterior. The distance between the center and any point on the circle is called the radius. So in this figure we have got 4 radius. OP. What is OP? Distance from the center to the point P. OQ, distance from the center to the point Q. OR, distance from the center to the point R. And OM, distance from the center to the point M. Now since these points M, P, Q and R lie on the circle and they are equidistant, all these are called radius. Okay? A line segment with endpoints on the circle is called a chord. You have done this before. So if you connect P and Q, then PQ is a chord, PR is a chord, QR is a chord, RM is a chord, MQ is a chord. Okay, these all are chords. So what is a chord? A chord is a line segment. Look at PQ. A chord is the line segment whose endpoints lie on the circle. Now if the chord is passing through the center, then that chord is called the diameter. So there are so many chords on the circle. There is PQ, QR, PR, RM, MQ and so on. But there is only one chord which is passing to the center. That is PM. So PM is also called the diameter of the circle. In other words, the diameter is the longest chord. So what is the diameter? So we have got OP is the radius and OM is the radius. So we can say diameter is twice the radius, 2 times the radius. Why? This radius plus this radius. So 2 times the radius gives us the diameter. Now this is only for the revision sake which you have done in the previous classes. Now how is it written? Look at the notation. The circle in some books is given by circle, where O is the center of the circle and R is the radius. Means If I write like this, P comma phi. What does it mean? It means we have a circle whose center is P and the radius is 5 units. Why units? We have not mentioned meter or centimeter. So 5 units, otherwise you have to mention 5 centimeter. So this is the notation. How you write the notation? This is the sign of the circle. Then in the bracket you write the center of the circle, comma, the measure of the radius. Now you see here OP, OQ, OM, OR, they all are equal, which is the radius. Now if you look at OA, since A lies inside the circle, OA is smaller than the radius, less than the radius. Even B lies inside the circle, so OB is less than the radius. X lies outside the circle, so distance OX is greater than R, and OY, the point Y lies outside the circle, so OY is greater than R. Check. All the points which lie on the circle, then the distance from the circle is equal to R. For the points which lie inside the circle, the distance is less than R. For the points which lie outside the circle, the distance is greater than R. So we have got the points on the circle, points in the interior of the circle, and points on the exterior of the circle. Now we go to the 10th standard. We start with tangent and secant. Okay, so in the figure 1, you can see the figure 1 here, first figure, the line PQ and the circle have got no common point. You can see this line PQ and you can look at this circle, they don't intersect at all. There is no point common to the circle, there is no point which is common. So this is called a non-intersecting line with respect to the circle. Here you can see the line PQ intersects the circle in 2 points, points A and points B. Now when a line intersects the circle in 2 points, this line is called the secant of the circle. So remember, when the line intersects the circle in 2 points, it is called the secant. We can see PQ is the secant, but AB is the chord. You can see AB is the chord, while the whole line PQ is the secant. If the line intersects the circle in only one point, what is it called? It is called the tangent. So understand the difference. Look at the 3 cases. In the first case, the line does not touch or does not intersect the circle. So it is a non-intersecting line. In the case 2, the line intersects the circle in 2 different points, A and B. So this line is called the secant of the circle. In the third case, the line intersects the circle in only one point, one and only one point, so it is called the tangent. So remember what is a non-intersecting line, what is a secant, and what is a tangent. Now we have to understand this definition in detail because we are only going to use the word secant and tangent in the further lectures. Okay, now we are only going to use the word secant and tangent. So the picture should come to your mind. What is a secant? A secant is a line which intersects the circle in 2 different points. What is a tangent? A tangent is a line which intersects the circle in one and only one point. So here A is the only point which lies on the circle also and lies on the line also. Here there are 2 points, A and B. Point A lies on the circle and the line, and point B lies on the circle and the line. So these are the points of intersection. Now we go to some axioms or postulate we can say and try to understand. Okay, what is the first statement saying? There cannot be more than 2 tangents parallel to a given secant. Cannot be more than 2 tangents parallel to a given secant. So in this case, this is a non-intersecting line. Now look at this figure. In this figure, PQ is the secant. Can you see this? PQ is the secant. Now we have to draw tangents parallel to it. So how many lines I have drawn? I have drawn line 1, line 2, line 3, line 4. I have drawn 4 lines parallel to this secant PQ. But out of these 4 lines, how many are tangents? Only 2. Line number 1 intersects the circle in only one point. So line 1 is a tangent. Line 2 is not a tangent because it intersects in 2 points. Line 3 is not a secant because it intersects in 2 points. But line 3 is a secant. But line 4 is a tangent because it intersects the circle in one point. So out of these 4 lines, 1 and 4 are tangent while 2 and 3 are not tangents. Now I only drawn 4 lines, but I can draw infinite lines parallel to a given secant. We can draw infinite lines. You can see this is the secant I have. PQ is the secant, and I can draw infinite lines parallel to the secant. Infinite lines. But out of these infinite lines, only 2 are tangents. This line which touches in one point are the tangents. So what we have got, there cannot be more than 2 tangents parallel to a given secant. Cannot be more than 2. And the common point of the tangent and the circle is called the point of contact. So this point, let me call it M. So M is the point of contact. Let me call this point N. So M and N are the points of contact. Okay. And what you can see this, if I draw a line from the center to the tangent, then it is always at 90 degree. So no matter where I draw my tangent, when I draw a line from the center, it will always be 90 degree. Wherever I draw my tangent, when I draw a line from the center to the tangent, it will always be at 90 degree. So this is the thing we need to see. Okay, so have you understood? Non-intersecting line in the first picture. In the second case, I have got a secant PQ. And I can draw infinite lines parallel to PQ, but only 2 of them are tangents. There cannot be more than 2 tangents parallel to a given secant. And in the third picture I showed, I have drawn the tangent, but when I join the line from the center to the point of contact. So you can see here what I have done. In this case here, A is the point of contact. You see this, A is the point of contact. From the center when I draw line to the point of contact, it always becomes perpendicular. Here, this is the point of contact. When I draw a line from the center to the point of contact, it is always perpendicular. Here, this is the point of contact. When I draw a line from the center to the point of contact, it is always perpendicular. Now here we can see something else, the tangent and the radius. Now this is the picture of a wheel. You can see this diagram is the picture of a wheel. Have you seen a wheel in a bicycle? In the bicycle, the center, we have got the axle, and these are the spokes of the wheel. They join the axle to the wheel. It gives the strong position or the shape of the wheel. Now if you see, the spokes of the wheel are along the radii. You can call it the radius. And look at the ground. This is the ground. So whenever the wheel moves on the ground, this is the point of contact of the wheel and the ground. And from the center, whenever you draw this radius, it is always perpendicular. It is always perpendicular. So even when the wheel moves forward, okay, when the wheel moves forward, when this radius comes in contact with the ground, it will always remain at right angles. Yes? When this point reaches here, reaches to the point of contact, when this point reaches to the point of contact with the ground, it is always at 90 degree. So what we have understood here, when we draw a line from the center of the circle to the point of contact, it is always perpendicular to the tangents. You can see here the radius to the point of contact with the ground appears to be right angles to the tangent always. Now we go to a theorem. We have to understand this theorem. What is the theorem 10.1? The theorem says the tangent at any point of a circle is perpendicular to the radius. So in the diagram we saw that it is perpendicular. Now we have to prove it. So what was the observation? That the tangent at any point of a circle is perpendicular to the radius through the point of contact. Now you understood the theorem. We have got a tangent xy here. What is the tangent here? Xy. P is the point of contact. So when you draw the radius OP, it is always perpendicular to the tangent. How do we prove it? So we are given a circle with center O, tangent xy at a point P. P is the point of contact. We have to prove OP is perpendicular to xy. So we begin, we take a point Q on xy other than P and join OP. So what is taken? Other than P, a point Q is taken and we join OP. Okay? Now you will see that the point Q must lie outside the circle. Why? It must lie outside. If it lies on the circle, if you see it lies on the circle, then PQ is not a tangent but it is a secant. It becomes a secant. But we have mentioned XY is a tangent. Now, if the point Q lies on the circle, then XY will become a secant. But XY is not a secant. Why it is not a secant? Because it is mentioned it is a tangent. So, if it is a tangent, then Q should lie outside the circle. So, OQ is longer than OP. You can see, I told you, remember, when the point is on the interior, the distance is lesser than the radius. When the point is on the circle, the distance is equal to the radius. When the point is outside the circle, the distance is greater than the radius. So OQ is greater than OP. So this happens for every point. Every point I draw, it will be greater than OP. All these points will be greater than OP. So OP is the shortest of all distances of the points XY. And the shortest distance is always perpendicular. So we can say OP is perpendicular to XY. Remember, the shortest distance is always perpendicular. You must have learnt in previous chapters. Let us see. Suppose I draw this line, two parallel lines. Then I can take this distance, I can take this distance, I can take this distance, and I can take this distance. What is the shortest distance? This is the shortest distance. Why? Because it is perpendicular to both the lines. All these distances which are not perpendicular are greater. The shortest distance is the perpendicular distance. So, because OP is the shortest of all, OP has to be perpendicular. Now let us see these remarks. By this theorem above, we can conclude that any point on the circle, there can be only one and only one tangent. Means, whenever I draw any point on the circle, suppose I draw this point or I draw this point, then to this point only one tangent can pass. To this point only one tangent can pass. Means, any point on the circle, there can only be one and only one tangent. Now, the line containing the radius through the point of contact is sometimes called the normal. So, if we call this xy as the tangent, we can call OP as the normal. The line which is perpendicular to the tangent can be also called what? The normal. So, remember these terms. Remember what is a tangent. Understand what is a tangent. It is a line which touches the circle at one and only one point. What is the secant? Secant is a line which intersects the circle in two different points. What is a normal? A normal is a line perpendicular to the tangent passing through the center. Okay? Or it is perpendicular at the point of contact. Means, you can see in the diagram, this is the tangent. So when I draw a line perpendicular from this tangent, from the point of contact, I can draw many perpendiculars. I have to take the perpendicular from the point of contact. This is called the normal. And the normal will always pass through the center. The normal of the tangent always passes through the center. So this is certain terminology that you should remember. So again, what is theorem 10.1? The tangent at any point of a circle is perpendicular to the radius through the point of contact. Okay? So tangent is always perpendicular to the radius. Now look at the different type of tangents. Look at the three cases. When, first case, when the given point lies inside the circle. When the given point lies inside the circle, there is no tangent possible. No tangent is possible. Can you see? You cannot draw a tangent with a point lying inside the circle. If the point lies on the circle, then there is one tangent possible. You understand the case? In the first case, if our given point is lying inside the circle, there is no tangent possible. In case 2, if the point lies on the circle, there is one and only one tangent possible. Case 3, if the given point lies outside the circle, if the given point lies outside the circle, from this points two tangents are possible. One point of contact is T1 and one point of contact is T2. So understood the cases? When the given point lies inside the circle, no tangents are possible. When the given point lies on the circle, one tangent is possible. When the given point lies outside the circle, two tangents are possible. Okay? So here, for the given point P, which lies outside the circle, the tangents are PT1 and PT2. Now T1 here is the point of contact, T2 is the point of contact, PT1 is the length of the tangent and PT2 is also the length of the tangent. So the length of the tangent, what is the length of the tangent? It is the distance from the point P to the point of contact P, from the external point P and the point of contact. So you can see from P to T1, point of contact, this is length of the tangent. P to T2 is also called the length of the tangent. Now we'll see something rule regarding the length of the tangent. What is the rule? Now first we saw from the external point, when the point lies outside. When the point lies outside the circle, there are two tangents possible. Here the two tangents PQ and PR. Now we have to prove the length of the tangents drawn from an external point to a circle are equal. So here we have got a circle with center, you can see the diagram, circle with center O, P is a point lying outside and there are two tangents PQ and PR from the point P, PQ and PR. We have to prove PQ equal to PR. This is what you have to prove. Okay, so how will we prove? Join PQ, join PR, join OR, OQ and OP. Join them all. Okay, so after you join them, what will you get? Okay, on joining them, what will you get? You will get two triangles. Which two triangles? The first triangle OQP, this triangle OQP. This is the first triangle we get, and ORP is the second triangle. Now we have got OQ equal to OR. Why? Because it is the radius of the same circle, and radius of a circle are always equal. So we have got OR equal to OQ, radius, right? These both are 90. Why? Why these both are 90? They are right angles because we learnt in the previous theorem that the tangent is always perpendicular at the point of contact. So these two are 90. And this is the common side to both the triangles. So by the RHS condition, right angle, hypotenuse side, the two triangles are congruent. And because the two triangles are congruent, the length of the tangent is equal. Right? The two triangles are congruent, so the length of the two are equal, so the tangents are always equal. So what is the theorem? The length of the tangents drawn from an external point to a circle are equal. But you can also see this angle, that is QPO and RPO, is also equal because the triangles are congruent. Even this angle and this angle, that is QOP and ROP, are also equal. So we are proving everything in one theorem, that the length of the tangent is equal, the angle made at the center is also equal. Now look at this sum. Prove that in two concentric circles, the chord of the larger circle which touches the smaller circle is bisected at the point of contact. What is the question? Did you understand the question? We are given two concentric circles. What are concentric circles? Do you know the definition? What are concentric circles? Circles which have got the same center are called concentric circles. You can see O is the center of the first circle and is also the center of the second circle. So O is the center of the circle C1 and C2 both. So there are two circles which are concentric having the same center. Now, what is the condition? The chord of the outer circle. The chord AB of the outer circle is the tangent to the inner circle. And we have to show that this chord is bisected at the point of contact. Means we have to show AP and PB are equal. So we are given a circle with center, we can write, we are given a circle with center O, AB is the chord of the outer circle which is also the tangent of the inner circle. Okay, and we have to prove what? That AB equal to prove. We have to prove that AP equal to PB. So let us start the proof. Join OA and OB. Join OA and OB. Now OA equal to OB. Why? Radius of the same circle. You can see O and AB is radius of the same circle, outer circle. So OA equal to OB. Now OP, you can see OPB equal to OPA. Angle OPA equal to angle OPB equal to 90 degree, right angles. Why? Because we know that from the point of contact, the tangent is perpendicular. And we have got OP equal to OP. So what I have taken, I have to start here. We have taken triangles AOP and triangle BOP. So which triangles you have taken? Triangle AOP and triangle BOP, in which OA equal to OB, radius of the same circle, angle OP equal to angle OPB 90 degree and OP equal to OP common side. Now what we have got? So this is the common side. This is equal. This side and this side is equal. This is 90 degree. So by RHS. Now R, right angle, H, that is the hypotenuse, this is equal, radius and the common side. So by RHS, triangle AOP is congruent to triangle BOP. Therefore, AP equal to P. So this point, this normal bisects the chord, means cuts the chord into two equal parts. The chord of the larger circle which touches the smaller circle is bisected at the point of contact, which is what we have proved. Okay, look at this sum now. What have we got in this sum? We have got a circle with center O. We have got a point T lying on the outside, which makes two tangents TP and TQ, but we have to prove angle PTQ. This angle is twice angle OPQ. We have to prove this. How will we start to prove this? First of all, observe that angle TPO is equal to 90 degree. Can you notice this? Angle TPO equal to 90 degree because it is always perpendicular. Therefore, what we have got? Angle OPQ. Angle OPQ equal to 90 degree minus, so this is 90 degree. So this angle OPQ is 90 minus this. How much is this angle? This angle is angle TPO. Have you followed this? This angle OPQ, is 90 minus TPQ. So this will call our result 1. Now look at triangle TPQ. TPQ makes a triangle, so we have got angle TPQ plus angle PQT plus angle PTQ. All these three angles add up to 180 degree. Okay. Now we know this tangent and this tangent are equal. So the opposite angles are also equal. So we have angle TPQ equal to angle PQT. Both the triangles are equal. So I can write this now as angle TPQ plus angle PQT. This one is equal to TPQ. So I'll write again angle TPQ plus angle PTQ equal to 180 degree. So we've got twice angle TPQ plus angle PTQ equal to 180 degree, or I can write angle PTQ equal to 180 degree minus twice angle TPQ. So I can write this as angle PTQ and I take out the 2 common here. So 2 bracket 90 degree minus angle TPQ, but 90 minus TPQ is how much? Is OPQ. So this becomes angle PTQ equal to twice angle OPQ. And you see, hence we have proved this. So I hope you have understood the sums. We have done certain proofs at sums. So what we have done today, we understood what is the circle, which points lie on the circle, which points lie on the interior, which points lie on the exterior of the circle, right? When the point is on the interior, no tangent is possible. When the points lie on the circle, only one tangent is possible to the point of contact. When the point lies outside the circle, then two tangents are possible and the length of the tangents are equal. So what we have done so far, we have used to prove certain sums. So I hope you like this lecture. This is very easy. Go at this into detail and understand it fully, and then we'll go to the succeeding lectures. So I'm going to end here. Thank you.